Continuing our insights into the nature of reality. And today's topic is that consciousness is the potential for all creation. Today, I ask you to ask yourself this question. Do you want to be a victim of the five senses or a co-creator? Here are how the options look like on the way to creation, depending on the five senses. So that's one option. This leads to separation, duality, ego-based identity, subject to fear, detached from the source, limited in time and space. Second option, depending on natural law, in control, less subject to fear. This identity taps into natural resources. It's inventive, it is understanding, it explores the reaches of time and space. And then the third option, depending on consciousness, this choice leads to creative intelligence. It is intimate with natural law. It is close to the source. It has no boundaries. All boundaries in space-time dissolve. Intentions turn into results. And this is all organized spontaneously beyond time and space. Awareness is all that changes in the journey from separation to the one reality. When you depend on your five senses, you are aware of the physical world, or at least you interpret your experience of the physical world as a primary reality. In such a world, you must come second because you see yourself as a solid object made up of atoms and molecules. The only role your awareness has is to look upon the world out there. But as I've said before, there's no out there. The five senses are extremely deceptive. They tell us that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. The earth is flat, that an object made of steel couldn't possibly be held up by air. The next stage of awareness depends on laws of nature that are arrived at by thinking and experimenting. The observer is no longer a victim of deception. He or she can figure out the law of gravity using mathematics and thought experiments. Newton didn't have to sit under a tree and have an actual apple fall on his head. He could perform a thought experiment using images and the numbers that match those images. This was the process he followed, as did Einstein, by imagining how relativity worked. When the human brain considers the laws of nature and reflects upon them, the material world is still seen as out there, something to be explored. More power is gained over nature, but if this level of awareness was the ultimate one, as many scientists think it is, utopia would be a technological triumph. However, the brain can't set itself aside forever. The laws of nature that keep airplanes in the air also apply to every electron in the brain. Eventually, someone has to ask, who am I who is doing all this thinking? Who am I who is doing all this thinking? Who am I who is doing all this thinking? Who am I who is doing all this reflecting? So as we go further into this reflective inquiry, you recognize that you are both formless, infinite, eternal, timeless, but also you can reconstruct yourself as any form or phenomena. So let's explore this third dimension of exploration, which depends on consciousness. Consciousness is the potential for all creation. Thank you.